Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the WADcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Brandon, I guess.
Brandonovich Junkovic. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday night. It is good to be on here on a Friday night, relaxing, hanging out, doing what we do best, which
Chilling
is
out
really
and
just
maxing,
talking
relaxing,
about.
all cool.
I don't do that. I don't max and act all cool. I like being a nerd. I like being a geek. It's more fun, And these days, let's face it, being a geek is in. That's what you got to do these days. If you're not a geek, if you're not a geek, you're not cool.
I'm swimming in the ladies with my geekness.
Yeah. Huh. Me too. But yeah, we actually have an interesting thing that we're talking about tonight because you and I have spoken about. We talk about movies all the time, and we've had extensive conversations about what we would do if we wrote this movie, what we would do differently. Right? We've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of movies that come out that just don't really seem to, it doesn't do. Like, like the studio, for some reason, either the studio might have interfered and changed things. That happens quite a bit. Or they gave a director that really should not have been directing it way too much. And that director just kind of ran it into the ground and strayed so far from the source script, which happens quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I were talking about things that we could really, converse about. And since you and I don't really do topics.
Yeah.
I know I pitched it to you this earlier this week about movies that just didn't really land well, either in the cinemas or with the people watching it or what have you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting my list to be as long as it is. If I were not working tonight, I think that we could probably cover at least like a 3-hour show over this alone. And that's without us even going through an entire list.
Yeah, I have like 3.
Oh, dude, I've got 47. That's where I just stopped. There's more, but I'm going to pick. I have stars next to the ones I'm going to talk about.
Okay, this is. Dear Lord. Okay, you hate movies. Hey. Got it.
No, I don't hate movies.
No,
I love
you hate
movies.
TV. You love movies.
I hate television. It's so hard to get me into stuff. Like, you have gotten me into watching shows. You got me into Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Right? I think when we were filming... when I was filming... when I was out in Van Nuys... When I was out in Van Nuys with Brian filming the trailer for Bad Agent... the actress that portrayed Jen, Sharon, Sharon, the actress's name, she pitched Ted Lasso to me. I never even heard of it before that, but then I mentioned it to you, and you're like, "Oh, it's a great show." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Have you seen the new episodes?
I have. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this next one coming out.
Just non-spoilers, because I know some people like to build up a little stockpile, but the scene in episode 2 in the locker room when the news broke and Beard
he's
like
and he screamed like that 3 times.
I love it. Love the show.
Beard is my I've never liked a supporting character more than I like the title character so much as I love Beard.
You should have seen him on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh God.
It was a great tournament. But, the thing is, watch this. The thing is, Ted Lasso knows how to hit all the right notes.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Some movies, sometimes they make it most of the way there and then just drop the ball. But no matter where they drop the ball gets dropped.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, why don't you start us off. Give us an example of a movie that just didn't make it.
You want me to go easy or unexpected for a lot of people?
Let's not blow anybody's minds right off the bat.
Okay, very simple then. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The fact that they're even making a sequel, a fifth movie. No. Fifth movie. The fact that they're making a fifth Indiana Jones movie just astounds me. And I think it's largely because of what happened with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
It did well in the box office.
But it pissed the name only. And name only, it did well.
Right.
Fans treat that entry of Indiana Jones the same way that Star Wars fans treat episodes 7 through 9. It's like, oh well, you have all of a sudden you have Shia LaBeouf in the jungle, like swinging like Tarzan through the vines. It got rid of all these supernatural parts of what made Indiana, like the occult. That was a large of Indiana Jones's the not obsession with it. And I know it says to the Cold War and all that stuff. Like they had to like kind of like fast forward a little bit to like Russia and yada yada yada. But it missed so many marks, and it got rid of everything that made the original movie special, I feel like. And let's face it, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, he never even needed to be in that movie at all. He could just let him take the Ark of the Covenant, and it would have ended the same way. But the storytelling for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it was so bad. And some of the scenes in it, like just what do you call it? Like where the scene where Shia LaBeouf Mutt pulls out like a knife, and it's like, easy kid, I think you just brought a knife. And he looks over, and the guys pull out guns to a gunfight. I'm like, oh, come on. It just didn't have what the writing was shoddy and everything. It just all seemed really off.
Let me give my hot take. I enjoyed it.
No, I enjoyed it if I shut my brain off. Now is our list talking about what did well, what didn't do well for us, or for people in general? Because I know a lot of people that didn't like that movie either.
Well, it's hard to speak for a group of people because you said Star Wars fans don't like episode 7 through 9. Well, guess what? Episode 9 is one of the highest grossing films ever.
Well, yeah, you thought something awesome was going to happen. What we got was Emperor Palpatine came back somehow.
I can hear me, and that's not bueno.
Still?
But to crack the top 10 highest grossing films of all time, that takes repeat viewing.
Huh?
People saw the movie and then went back to see it. There are people that really like the movie. And I wouldn't say they're not Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people like... All right, fine. They're uncultured who... No.
And now your audio is really breaking up.
They're Star Wars fans. For fuck's sake, I hate this so much. 1 second, let me see something here. Hang tight.
There's your one.
Huh?
That was your one. You blew it.
Is that better?
Nope.
Okay. And yeah,
all sorts of crazy.
Okay.
Take a second.
Okay, so
you're moving on my screen now. You're good. I think you're good.
And I'm not even doing any research. I don't have any other tabs open, just this one. There's nothing else open on this laptop at all. This is why I need to invest in a decent desktop. I need to stop using a laptop for all these shows.
You gotta stop using Wi-Fi.
Well, I don't have a long-ass Ethernet cable to go into the other room.
It's like $10.
So I just have to get one. So I'll get one, Dad. God.
Well, in this particular context, I'm talking to you as your boss. So purchase the equipment necessary to do the show, or you're gonna keep lagging. There are really no consequences. Since by boss I mean actual.
I'll just rehire myself.
Be like, hey, Brandon, that Brandon's a real troublemaker.
You can't fire me. Oh, God. Funny, though. Okay. So, but I mean, that's really one that I could think of is the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And it's just because it just didn't really seem to hit. I mean, you have the opening scene with him climbing into the fridge and surviving an atomic blast. Flying, and not just surviving a nuclear blast, but flying at a high rate of speed from the shockwave, and then just tumbling on the ground for God. He must have been that thing. He must have cleared at least like a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, maybe. Like he went through the desert quite a bit.
Now, all for me, yeah, that was silly. That was absolutely silly. In my head canon, right? What they should have at least had a throwaway line, just a throwaway line would have explained everything. Someone's like, how are you surviving all this stuff? And he's like, drink from the Holy Grail. I'm, built different.
Yeah, and that would have been a good callback. Like, oh yeah, I'm a little tougher than I used to be. Like, oh, whatever. Like, I mean, but then it's like, and then he survived that, and he was unscathed. He just tumbled out, right? And he walked it off. Just being in that thing with it spinning and the somersaults it's doing and all this stuff on the sand. But then an hour later, he's fighting that really big Russian dude, right? And he's got that jet strip or whatever the hell it was. It had the rocket on the back of it. And that was enough to make him go almost completely unconscious. He wasn't even dizzy when he got out of that fridge. So...
Now, I'm going to throw this out there, too. When I saw it, it was opening day, and I saw it unexpectedly as I was taking a group of kids on a field trip. Yep. And I was like, so what movie is everyone going to see? And then the teacher was like, the new Indiana Jones movie. And I'm like, what? Yep. Okay, I'm in. I am so in.
Times when working for the school district pays off, right?
Yeah, I didn't have to pay for my ticket. In fact, I was paid to be there. So to say I was just in a good mood anyway, yeah, my opinion was a bit jaded from the start, as far as having a tendency to love it. Although I didn't love it. But I also haven't seen it again.
Yeah, it's a one and done thing. Here, Josh, give me 1 second. I'm going to go get something to refill really quick. Sorry, setting up was a little rough, but 1 second.
Needs a little scotch. So yeah, I'm not in Indiana Jones, and I'm not really a movie or anything hater, to be honest. There are things that I like, there are things that I don't like, and there are things that I like. Most of the things I see are just like okay, but I mean, it takes something really not special to be to get a really low rating. Out of all the movies that I've ever seen that I remember, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I say I think I don't have the information available right in front of my eyes. And there's 8 movies that I ever gave half a star, and then maybe 20 or so that I've only given 1 star.
Like what?
And for my half a star movies.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, there's only 8. I can go through all of them. Let's see. In order. Super Size Me.
Okay. Yeah, that really wasn't that great of a movie.
Awful.
No, I never got the hype.
There's Morgan Spurlock is tearing down McDonald's. Like, no, it's just silly to think you can switch to an all McDonald's diet for 30 days straight for every meal after being like what, vegan and not
Yeah,
expect health complications.
yeah, that son of a bitch ruined it for the rest of us.
It's like, come on, dude. That's just that's not how you science. Next up is Showgirls. It's weird because it's one of those few movies where the TBS version is better than the theatrical release. Because there's something about those cartoon bikinis during the topless scenes that makes you go, "Oh, that's hilarious."
For me, it was always the pool scene that just I don't know. It left me more baffled than anything.
Let's see. Let's
you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Nick Fury
with David Hasselhoff.
That was garbage.
Captain America better be on that one too. The 90s Captain America.
No, there's no 90s Captain America.
There is a 90s Captain America.
There's no 90s Captain America.
I promise you there is.
Okay, to the research dungeon. Oh, well, I'll do the research. You just you talk to the kids.
If you get a chance and everyone watch this 90s Captain America movie, just shut your brain off. It is that bad. There is a scene when
it's from exactly 1990. I thought it was 89.
Okay. There's a scene in this movie where Captain America is strapped to a rocket and he grabs a hold of the Red Skull's arm. And as the rocket's taken off, the Red Skull, he's like, "Oh, well, what's going to happen? What do I do? Like, oh my God, he's holding on to me." He breaks out a knife. "Oh, well, which arm should I cut off?" You think he would go for Captain America's? No, he cuts his own arm off. And what sells the movie are the big rubber ears on top of this, like, ridiculous. Like, some comic accuracy costumes do not translate well. This was a very, very accurate costume. It looks like I don't know how the guy even moved in that thing. They must have like just oiled him up because it's all like rubber, isn't it? Like rubber, or like
I never saw it.
Oh, that's so bad.
Then we have Ted Danson's Gulliver's Travels. Remember that one?
I do. Yeah.
We have Born into Mafia 2.
Yep.
The original was so much better. And it was still not good. Birdemic 2.
Birdemic. Oh.
No, Birdemic 2.
I'm just saying, like, in general, Birdemic, like, that movie was just...
Had some awesome callbacks, though. The Nicolas Cage Left Behind.
I mean, that was better than Kirk Cameron's.
I actually have Kirk Cameron's rated higher.
Really?
Yeah, because it was, mind you, it's the difference between half a star and 1 star. I gave Kirk Cameron's a little bit more credit for, being closer to the books.
Fair enough.
And finally, Dark Water.
With Jennifer Connelly, right?
Is it Jennifer Connelly? Yes, it is. It's about a ghost with mommy issues.
And if you think back and realize that movie is based on a real situation, it's pretty messed up.
Stuff's not real, right?
No, the ghost part was made up. Where they found the girl in like the water tank up on top of the roof, that was real.
Oh, okay.
Did you know about that?
No.
Oh yeah, there's CCTV footage of a woman like peeking in and out of an elevator, like she's just terrified of something. But then she walks out of the elevator, and then they never see her again. They found her after a few days, people started noticing like a foul taste and smell in the water for the building. They found this woman in the water tank on the roof.
Familiar now.
Yeah, found her in the water tank on the roof. and there was no way possible that she could have gotten up there by herself, but there was no video footage of anyone else ever following her. So somehow she managed to do it, but they just, they never solved it. By the time they found her, like she was already decaying and bloated and all that stuff, like just, things that happens. Not really like what we talk about on our show, but still, that's where I came from. Everything else, like, oh, it's a ghost story, but it's based on real events. Like, it kind of muddles it down to like kind of, I think, false advertising.
Maybe a bit.
Poquito.
So
Yeah.
those are, I use Letterboxd. Give us money. And it's a great tool. So I can just take like every movie I've ever watched and rearrange them by rating. So right now I have it sorted by lowest to highest.
Yeah.
And it's easy to just go, wow, these are the worst movies I've ever seen.
I really need to start using Letterboxd.
Yeah, you should, especially with the job you have. Sometimes you get some time to kill, and you just start looking through the decades of film, and you're like, yeah, I saw that. I think I liked it like 3.5 stars.
But that's so much. That's so much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't have your easy life. Okay, I've got 2 dogs. I don't have 3 growing kids. I'm in a full-time job and like multiple productions. But I've got 2 dogs, and like a shift where I sit on my ass most of the night. I don't have that time.
So far, I've logged 2,555 films because I'm so lazy. I got nothing else to do. There's just no demand of me anywhere. By the way,
easy life.
Shout out to my now 16-year-old kid who had a birthday this week. 16.
Happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to the kiddo.
Crazy.
It's hysterical that your kids, the second I'm on the phone with you, if they get in the car, it's like, there's children in the car.
Well, you're the one that was like, you got to warn me.
Yeah.
And they took that to heart.
And then the audacity of them thinking that I actually used the F-bomb the other day while they were in the car.
Mm-hmm. Except you did.
No, liars. Make your kids truthers, not liars. I did. Yeah, it was a hard F-bomb too.
And they were quick to call you out for it.
Yep, they really were. Anyway, getting back to our show about movies, not,
Well, you just heard my 8 worst movies of all time that I've seen.
Yeah, but now we're talking about my faults, and I'm not comfortable with that. So we got to move on because I'm a perfect being.
Okay, then how about you give us, I don't know, another movie for me to tell you you're wrong about.
You like saying hurtful things like that, Josh?
I love it.
Oh, okay. Ghostbusters 2016. That's one of the easiest ones I can think of. Missed every mark imaginable with the fan base. It just did horribly in the box office. And when I say horrible in the box office, I'm not talking about how much it earned. I'm talking about how much it earned against its budget. And on top of what went on behind the scenes as well. Because that movie, Paul Feig, he absolutely pissed off everyone at Sony. Everyone. And then the movie itself was subpar. It really wasn't good. It had nothing that really, I don't know, made it exceptional.
Let me stop you right there.
Go for it.
Because there were 3 things that I really enjoyed about this movie.
I like Holtzman. She was only saving grace.
3 things that I really loved about this movie.
Okay.
And yes, Kate McKinnon was one of them.
Uh-huh.
In fact, the biggest reason I think the movie is watchable at all.
Absolutely.
2, if you know Leslie Jones, you know Leslie Jones. It's
Never
like a
mattered.
lot of it's a lot of there are a lot of actors out there where they just show up and they're just kind of, this is who you expect me to be. So that's exactly who they are. Um, I happen to enjoy Leslie Jones on SNL, so seeing her do this, it's exactly what I expected. So I'm not going to say it was a negative. I'm not really going to say it was a positive, but it was a Leslie Jones performance, and it worked for me being her being the oddball in the group, um, or I should say the odd man out. And then Chris Hemsworth. He has some good comic timing, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And that's
But
about all I can say because I thought it was overly produced.
I felt like it was. I felt like it explained too much and treated its viewers like they were stupid. I feel like that's what it came down to for me. Um, how much time do they spend testing the equipment in that movie, Josh? A lot, like a lot of time.
I don't remember.
Okay, when they first they're in the subway, they test the proton stream, not the pack yet, the stream, which coincidentally is where they get the idea for the Ghostbusters logo. Really stupid. Whatever. We don't need to see how they got the idea for the logo, but whatever. Um, but then when they are testing in the alley, testing the proton pack equipment and everything else in the alley, that just goes on for so long. The jokes just dragged on. If you watch the director's cut, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
I lost the bet, so I had to watch it. There's not one, not two, not three, but four scenes of characters just dancing. Just dancing.
Okay.
I'm like, there's a lot in that movie that doesn't really do anything for the story.
Well, that's why those scenes were cut, I imagine.
Even in the theatrical release, there's quite a few scenes that don't really do anything. A lot of the scene, and I felt like it was like an angry movie. That's what it felt like more than anything else. Like I didn't like the fact that it painted all men to be assholes or dumbasses, but the original actually painted Dana Barrett as being a very strong-willed woman. That's Sigourney Weaver, dude.
Mm.
Like up until she was possessed, she was on it. Like she had no problem saying no. Yeah, Peter Venkman was already sleazy. He's like a slimy character in the movies. And they had Janine Melnitz, the secretary, who in the first two movies, she's very strong-willed as well. This movie, just like I felt like it was over the top. You can have a girl power movie, that's fine, but I feel like this is an over the top girl power movie that spends so much time just being angry towards men, while rebooting a movie or remaking a movie rather that was whose fan base is largely comprised of men. But then to add to it the confusion from when the first trailer dropped. The first trailer made it come off like it was a legitimate sequel to Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Because I think the first line of the trailer, like when he's had like the words and everything else before it really gets into the what you're going to see in the trailer, it said like 30 years ago, four scientists saved the world from four scientists in New York saved whatever it was. And now a new generation is about to answer the call. Like, oh, that's awesome. It's going to be a sequel. And then just, it's not. I don't know. But it absolutely missed the mark with a lot of things that end up it was in the Walmart's $5 movie bin within like 3 months. It really didn't do well. So thankfully, that movie's failure, I'm always happy that movie exists because since it failed, we got Ghostbusters Afterlife. Which,
now we're gonna have Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Yep.
Are you eating?
I am eating. I'm hungry. Don't judge me. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, you shouldn't eat during the show.
I am hungry as hell, and it's a hamburger. You can't let this stuff get cold and soggy.
Yeah, but people hear that.
Oh God, mute my mic. You talk for a second, so I take a few bites. I'm hungry. I never eat on the show. I'm like really now. So you give me your thoughts. I'm listening. Just mute.
All right, Brandon's muted. Can you believe this guy's eating on the show? That how inconsiderate of that guy to you, the listeners, making you hear him chew. That's okay. Judging by the look on Brandon's face, I think he meant my thoughts on the movie. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. So, Ghostbusters 2016. It it's difficult to defend. I didn't see it as the man hating movie that some people did. Um, I wasn't really, looking for it, I guess, but I do tend to miss some subtextual things on the first viewing because I'm not really, you know, not really looking for those things. I'm just trying to enjoy a flick, and I didn't think it um, really needed a second viewing. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest through lines through all of these movies that are mentioned tonight is you see them once and that's it. You're done. You don't need to watch them again because you saw it. It's for me the second and third viewings that really get me to do a little bit more deeper diving into what's going on, subtext and visually. Because I honestly, if something's like really in your face and you're just picking up on it right away, it can be a little jarring to my enjoyment, my what's the word I'm looking for? My immersion into the world.
Well, here's the thing with the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. It's just like even taking away the subtext that's all over it. And I have watched it on a few times because I have had to have a few discussions about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so forgettable to me that I have to go back and I have to revisit that pile of heaping shit. But the thing is, like, it's the opening scene, like when they go to investigate the first ghost. It's kind of like this movie's version of the library ghost in Ghostbusters 1984. So when they go there, they're talking to a guy, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're here to meet this person." The guy's like, "Oh, well, he's dead." Like, what? Like, yeah, he's been dead for a long time. Oh, okay. It's like, yeah, I'm his son. I'm Junior. Like that's not even funny. I remember being in the movie theater watching this with my buddy Justin. And again, I had to go see this because I lost a damn bet. That's when I have to do stuff that I don't want to do. Is like when I'm betting on something, I lose. Justin sitting next to me. We're watching this movie, and everyone around us is cracking up. And I'm just sitting here like, Justin's laughing. I'm like, the hell are you laughing at? Like, I don't know what anyone's laughing at. I'm missing all the jokes, or like maybe like how it's delivered. I don't get it. And as we're coming out of the theater, I'm looking at Justin. It's like, what the hell were you laughing at? We laugh at the same stuff. Like, we hate the same stuff. What was so funny? He's like, oh, I wasn't watching the movie. It's like, I was watching your face. He's like, you were getting so angry. It's like, plus, I mean, like the Ecto One. There's only one Ecto One. Much like there's only one DeLorean. You can't. There's only one mystery machine. You cannot replace these classic cars and just do like, oh, here's an updated version with an uglier car.
Yeah, like if they did this to Back to the Future, there's no way not having a DeLorean would fly.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, I mean, the Ecto One has always been like a Meteor Cadillac, ambulance hearse. whatever that was in that movie, it didn't have the sleekness to it. It didn't have like the sexiness of that car. I mean, but I don't know. Aside from that, everything else, it's just the way they defeat the big ghost at the very end is they shoot this ghost in the crotch. Oh, by the way, hi Uncle Don. It's good to have you listening. Sorry, meant to acknowledge, but I was eating and then Josh was talking. And I kind of jumped in back into my point here. Um, but yeah, I couldn't connect to this movie at all. Like, just I wanted to like it. I really did because I loved Bridesmaids. I think what Paul Feig puts out usually pretty funny. Freaks and Geeks is an amazing show. He wrote the damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Had
So
a hand in
this is like, dude,
directing a lot of great episodes of The Office.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like when this came out, I was just like, what the hell am I watching? Like, this cannot be like. And I saw the. I remember seeing the campaign for the movie. There's a scene where he's walking. There's something where he's walking around interviewing female comedians while he's dressed up in like a clown suit. He says, "Hey, women are funnier than men, don't you think?" I'm like, dude, why are you even trying to do this? There are some hysterical women. There are some hysterical guys. But that proton pack scene just turned me off because. Do you know what the introduction to the proton pack was in the first movie?
Of course.
That elevator scene, right? That epic elevator scene where they're just talking about the proton packs. They covered everything about how dangerous this thing was that they're wearing on their backs and Egon's fear of these things. They covered all of that within 10 seconds. It took 5 minutes of Melissa McCarthy floating around like a deflating balloon. Plus the wonton, dude. The wonton thing. Just, oh, God. You know what? I'm going to come off of Ghostbusters 2016 because we'll be here all night long. That was a bad one to put on my list. But still did miss the mark. Down to the down dirty nitty gritty of this one. What the point is, this movie effectively got Paul Feig kicked off the lot. And refused to have him come back for anything Sony related. And Dan Aykroyd had a large part to do that too. Over budget, ballooned over budget, ballooned over schedule, and what they turned in was just really not that good. So, what do you have next, Josh? I'm going to mute myself so I can eat something because I don't want you guys to hear me smacking while I'm chewing on my burger.
All right, my next flick that I think missed the mark is it's a real heartbreaker too. It's Moonfall, last year's Moonfall. When you see Roland Emmerich, you're going to get a effects heavy disaster flick, right? He's really the only guy that's doing these big scale disaster movies anymore. And the cool thing about Roland Emmerich is he's always kind of upping the ante.
Josh, are you here? I think we lost Josh. It's okay. I'm still here though. Um, Moonfall was horrible. I was that was a bad movie. Very bad movie. I'm not even paying attention. I'm over here eating the last of my burger. I look up, I see my own face up on this box. My God. Josh is the employee of the month of the two of us every single month. He's the OG. Uh, he's our head producer. So yeah, no, with Moonfall it was pretty bad. Such a I don't even know what to say about that one at all. It was just really rough. But yeah, it's and as Josh put it, Roland Emmerich, he usually puts out such great movies, and then there's this thing, and you have the cast. The whole cast was just a very talented cast, and they actually read this script. They're like, "Oh, we're going to make this movie," and then they made that movie, and that's what we got. So yeah, but hopefully Josh. Oh, okay. Josh lost his connection. Hopefully he'll be back on here shortly. But yeah, meantime, you guys have Uncle Brandon here. But I will let Josh get back to his points with Moonfall. But I'm going to also step up to another movie that really missed the mark that made the previous two movies any good.
Surprise, mother father.
There you are. Hi.
Yeah, my internet went down for a second.
Yeah, like I was just I looked up. I'm eating the last of my burger. I look up. I see my own face like in the box. I'm like, what the hell's Josh? Like, I'm
Roland Emmerich found me. Or Paul Feig is like, these guys are done.
No, they teamed up. It's like Moonfall. How about Internet Fall?
And I wasn't going to say Moonfall is bad, although
it was bad. It was so bad.
I was just going to say that one of the best things about Roland Emmerich is when he does disaster, he increases the stakes. He makes it bigger, and this just the disaster part of the disaster movie was pretty boring.
Well, no, I mean the disaster part of this disaster movie was the entire movie, the whole production. That was the disaster. Yeah.
And I could be wrong here. I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I think some of the science from Moonfall might be a little off.
Yeah. A little bit.
Just a tad.
It just was not a good movie. It on top of that, it did not bring in the desired box office. It really didn't. It flopped miserably.
Let me
and it got panned by critics so badly.
And I think most of the critics, we've had these conversations before about what critics are looking for and whether or not, because for us, the context of the movie is, again, everything. You can enjoy a bad movie. It's okay. Absolutely. And that's really all that matters, whether or not you enjoy it. But if you can't, yeah.
Well, no, it's like, I mean, the thing is, yeah, you can watch bad movies. I mean, I have movies that I like that other people probably think are stupid. The movie Hot Rod, I don't know why, I cracked the hell up at that movie. I think Hot Rod is an insanely hysterical movie.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot of people don't really care about it. Repo, a Genetic Opera, I think is a great movie. And then my uncle, who is actually in our chat here, has a movie that I have yet to really get any of my friends to sit through, which is called Galaxy of Terror, with a very young Robert Englund. And this movie has a scene of a giant alien caterpillar having its way with a woman. It's really it's a weird movie. but it's graphic, it's gory, and it is very well made for a movie from 1980, I think, 81.
I bet
Is it?
Jen's seen it.
Huh?
Said I bet Jen's seen it.
Oh, probably. So, but like my Uncle Don here, he got me into a lot of old school horror films when I was a kid. I always looked forward to crashing at his house for the night because I knew I was going to watch some really messed up shit. but uh, but no, so it's like, yeah, enjoy stupid movies. Movies are still a form of art. Art is subjective. You can like what you like, hate what you hate. That's fine. But there's no mistaking, Moonfall was a tragic plane wreck of a movie.
And not in a good way.
No. Well, it's like you see the trailer, you think the moon's falling out of the damn sky. Right? You think, like, that's what I thought from the trailers. I thought the moon was going to be falling out of the sky, and they had, I don't know, like, I was looking forward to see what was going to happen. Oh my God, the moon's coming down. We're going to lose it's going to crash into Earth. No. It's an alien technology. Oh yeah, right. Well, I did my best. No, Uncle Don was awesome with it. He was like hands down my favorite uncle when I was a kid because it's just like I would just go there and we'd have he had every horror movie I could even think of. I could just like watch whatever. And I was a kid. My horror movie taste was like few and far between. But big thing was, don't tell your mom about this when you get back.
You want to know? I'll give you one more, and then you can get one more, and we'll wrap things up.
Okay.
This next one I fully believed in. I thought it had the potential to really be amazing.
Okay.
2008's Death Race.
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
Statham.
I was actually surprised. I mean, and the original Death Race was awesome.
Death Race 2000 was immaculate.
Yeah, and then that one came out. I would look at comparing Jason Statham's Death Race to the original in the same way that would go with like Chris. I forget his name.
Farley.
No, not Farley. I actually may even like have. No. He played Ox. I don't think his name may not be Chris,
Klein.
But Rollerball from like 2003,
yeah,
the original one. Chris Klein. Okay, that was right. Okay, so Chris Klein, his version of Rollerball to the original, like it doesn't really work.
But the new one does have that Shane McMahon shot for some reason.
Yeah, but it's still.
Let me reenact it. That's it.
So what do you think that Death Race didn't really? What do you think Death Race 2000? I'm sorry, Death Race didn't really work compared to Death Race 2000.
Well, one of the campy fun things about Death Race 2000 was it was a cross country race where you get points for running over pedestrians.
Oh yeah, and I know this one took place in like a more of a confined space.
It was a prison.
Yeah,
and then like okay, it's on I guess a track. It's like that's not fun. It took away the personality of the cars and the drivers and made it just a generic, Fast and the Furious meets something, I don't know, but it was all about we're gonna drive fast cars.
Well, I was going to say it's like Fast and Furious meets racing, but like that's what Fast and Furious used to be, was racing.
Like if this was called Twisted Metal, I still would think it wouldn't be great, but at least it's more of the motif of the game.
Yeah.
Where, it's cars with weapons on them shooting each other. That tracks. But Death Race is a race across the country during this crazy time in America where this is everyone's favorite sport, and they're putting grandma out on the street to get run over so their favorite driver can get points. This is not that.
No, no. This like this right here. I mean, I agree with you. Like honestly, I made a joke about it to somebody, and I told them like they brought up the Twisted Metal movies. Like, oh, we already had that. Jason Statham's Death Race. That was Twisted Metal, but like you know, in a prison. So, because that's like you say that like that's exactly what it was. It was Twisted Metal, just different drivers. They all have their own little code names and everything else, right? They all have their specialties with their cars. It was very much Twisted Metal. So, do you have another one you want to bring up before I bring up mine?
Yeah, I can do one more. And I think it's pretty obvious. Street Fighter.
Oh God.
1994.
Okay.
You got okay, I'm tripping over myself here. Okay, Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile, all right?
An American general. Or sergeant, whatever he is.
I'm cool with all that.
He's not American.
But just the fact that he seems to have only gotten the role because have you seen the way he kicks? Guile loves to kick. So let's get Van Damme because he's box office and he likes to kick.
I was going to say, so this Chuck Norris, though. But that couldn't have, aside from Chun-Li and E. Honda, that could not have been a more miscast movie. I'm saying that with the utmost love and respect for Raul Julia. But he wasn't right for M. Bison. He did a great job. He did a great job with it, as campy as that script was.
Didn't he do it because he wanted something for his kids or something?
His kids wanted him to play M. Bison. And I'll say this. They gave him one of the coldest lines as a character for his final film. And that was the scene after Chun-Li's explaining everything that M. Bison did. And he was like, my darling, the day that M. Bison graced your village was like the most important day of your life. But for me, that was Tuesday. But I mean, it was just like, look what they did to Blanca. Dude. All of them.
I mean, I don't understand how someone can look at the games and go, all right, so it looks like this Guile guy, he's the main character. And they went from there.
Yeah, you know what? If you really want to watch a good Street Fighter movie, watch the animated movies. The animated movies are amazing. They're awesome. The cartoon that came out on Saturday morning was better than that movie is. And you know what? It's funny that you say Street Fighter because the one I actually have two back to back here, and they're the same property, and it's Mortal Kombat Annihilation,
and
then it's Mortal Kombat from 2021. And I only have very few problems with the 2021 version. Kano was the best part of that whole movie, hands down. Now, going to Mortal Kombat Annihilation, they got everything wrong with that movie. They were trying to cram so much, and not just from Mortal Kombat 1 or 2, but they were trying to cram things from Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 4 into this one movie. They tried getting so much stuff. If you've ever watched the making of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it was like, oh yeah, there's more flips in this movie. It's like, no one cares about flips. It's Mortal Kombat.
I care about flips.
Okay, like one little flip here and there, but it's like you don't go see a martial arts movie just to watch people do somersaults and shit. You go see this movie. You go see a Mortal Kombat movie to watch some brutality, some messed up stuff. Okay, that's what makes Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat. That's what separates it from Street Fighter.
Yeah,
the graphic violence that was missing largely from this movie. It even compared to the first movie that really was not that graphic at all. This movie came off like it was. You would get a better storyline watching a kid play with their action figures than what you got with Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Even the dialogue.
I don't even remember the story from Annihilation.
It was bad. Shao Kahn and Shinnok break the rules of Mortal Kombat to invade Earth.
And then they throw every character,
every single damn character they can get, even if it's just for like a quick little 5-second cameo. That character's got to be in here. Like Melina, you think that Melina would be fighting Kitana, right? No, fight Sonya Blade. And the continuity is so off in that movie. But I remember when it was getting hyped up, they showed pictures of all the characters and everything else. You're like, oh, okay, that looks kind of weird. Like, the first movie had Scorpion and Sub Zero with their like strict ninja outfits, right? Like, there's like the all yellow and black, all blue and black, whatever. The really cool looking mask
Mhm.
reptile. They treated him as if he was a hidden character. The way they did a good job with the first movie with making it like really a love letter to the game with what they had to do with the ratings. Now, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, if you look at the ninja costumes, they look cheap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, looking at Motaro, who is like a centaur, they gave him like human legs, human torso, and they just slapped a big CGI ass and hind legs on him. That's all they did for Motaro. And my favorite bad line in the whole movie was when Sindel shows herself to the group, and Kitana's like, "Mother, you're alive." You have Sindel, "Too bad you will die." Like, what the hell? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, someone wrote this and got paid for this. So if we have any aspiring screenwriters watching or listening to this show, I want you to realize that we are talking about two movies here that people made a lot of money writing, and that is Moonfall and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. If they can do it, you can do it. Now, I'm pretty sure the writers just like had their kids all get together playing with action figures, and that's how they wrote the whole dialogue and the storyline. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. Um, but coming off of Annihilation, you go to the 2021 movie. Okay. Um, Need to watch Kill and Kill Again. Now that is cheesy. um, but then you have Mortal Kombat 2021.
Hmm.
The plot itself is so flawed from the get-go. Now it starts off with a really awesome fight. You have Hanzo Hasashi, you have Bi-Han, like you have Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting each other. You see like the eradication of the Shirai Ryu, the Scorpion's clan. And you see how Sub-Zero kills Scorpion's wife. Or I'm sorry, not Scorpion yet, Hanzo Hisashi's wife and his son, and then kills him. And doesn't just kill him, he slowly kills him. He stabs him with a spear and he pulls it upwards. If you don't realize what he's doing, he is gutting him. Meantime, Hanzo Hisashi's hidden baby is discovered by Raiden. Fast forward, I think 200 years, something like that, 200, 300, 400 years, somewhere around there. This guy Cole, he's a down and out MMA fighter, and he is Hanzo Hisashi's like the last member of his bloodline or something like that, right? Because in 400 years, none of his ancestors ever had more than one kid. Like, it just goes straight down. But and Cole is an original character. He's not in the games whatsoever. He's not in there. He's got nothing to do with Mortal Kombat at all. They created him solely for this movie, and his only purpose is to rally people together. He's the glue, I guess, in this movie. Maybe I've missed something, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was supposed to be. He's supposed to be like the glue for everybody. He's the good guy. It's his story.
He's the guy that we're supposed to learn about everything with.
Yeah, and that was originally, that character has always been Liu Kang. Liu Kang is the one who we learned everything. And if not Liu Kang, at least the three. Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and Sonya Blade.
Yeah, it would be Johnny Cage and Sonya that are like, because Liu Kang, he knows about the tournament.
He knows of it, yeah.
Defending the Earth for, generations. But that's why you have the sort of outsiders to the whole thing.
Yeah, the normies
being brought in, so you can, get the fresh eyes on the situation, like we're supposed to be.
Yeah, and here's the funny part. It's about Mortal Kombat. Guess what never happens in this movie? The Mortal Kombat tournament never happens. This whole movie is Shang Tsung, who's trying to win this tournament. The whole movie is him cheating and attacking Earthrealm fighters. but and trying to take them out before the tournament, because if Earth doesn't have fighters,
Yeah.
they can't enter the tournament and they
It's all
automatically lose.
pre-tournament stuff.
Yeah, it's stupid. It makes no sense. And Cole's only purpose in this entire movie, there's two moments where he has this purpose. A is when Kung Lao was killed by Shang Tsung, and everyone's in the realm between realms and yada yada yada, all the happy horse shit. And then you have they're all beaten down. It's, oh well, we can't beat these guys. They're killing us. Like, okay. And he's like, no, we have to separate them. Like, you're an MMA fighter, and you are schooling two tactical experts on how to be tactical in fighting a handful of people. Because you even have Jax like, oh, that's a good idea. Like, like, you're in the military, son of a bitch. You should know this. Sonya Blade's like, oh, yeah, we can do this. Separate them one-on-one. And we'll save Sub-Zero for last. He's the big guy. I'm like, I beg to differ, but okay.
But they got so much right.
They did, but what they didn't get right is that Cole had no purpose. They could have very well made Scorpion, like, the only thing that Cole was there for was to be the connection for Scorpion to make his appearance at the end and give us that amazing fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Do not get me wrong, that was an awesome fight. Like the scene where it's like Sub-Zero slices him and you see all the blood spray up and he just like turns the blood into a dagger in the air and he stabs him with it.
Mm-hmm.
They got Sub-Zero and Scorpion perfectly. Very well done.
I'd say most of the fights were, pretty good. Oh, the only thing that fell apart was just the whole reason for them.
Yeah. And there's also like Sonya Blade's love of twirling through the air. I don't understand that. Like, toss it, like, I guess. Toss me the knife. They toss her a knife. So, of course, she's got to run. And instead of just like running and catching the knife, she's got to run and twirl through the air to grab the knife to do whatever she's going to do with. And then when Cole is being attacked by Melina at the end, she like he's like holding her off. She's got like all over the big old fangs, like wrapped around the Billy Club, whatever the hell Black Panther ripoff thing that they did for him. And she jumped instead of just jumping down from a ledge and helping him really quick. No, she's got to show off her gymnastic abilities. That was obviously used with a wire harness, but whatever. And my favorite is that the Arcana. Jax's Arcana is metal arms. That's what his Arcana was. It never really explained why he got metal arms. Like, his arms went from like this little tiny, like, bony looking, like, skeletal, like, it looks like what you would see with if you took all the meat and flesh and everything else off your arms. That's what he has. He has like those tiny little, dainty looking arms. But all of a sudden he needs to save Sonya. So now he's a damn transformer. Jackson Briggs, roll out. It's like just turns into like all these like just giant mechanisms that just go wrapping around him and clinking together. I don't know. I don't understand it. But yeah, like, I mean, I love the fact that they showed the pit when it was Jax versus Rico. What I think they missed out on was him knocking him into the pit. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Like, don't like do the head buster. I know they had to get the finishing move in there, but throw his ass into the pit. You could have like, uppercutted him and sent him flying. When it came to everything else, though, I don't know. There's so much useless and pointless exposition in that film. There's so much stuff that really doesn't really need to even happen, like Goro. I know Goro is there to help him get his Arcana, like, not to help him, but it helps him get his Arcana. But you look at Goro. Goro looked like shit in that movie. It looks so bad. But you break out Goro from 1995. It is night and day with how awesome the original version is versus how bad this one is.
I love the original so much.
I do too. But
this is the part where you fall down.
Oh yeah. hey, those are $500 sunglasses, asshole. But even the first movie, it had hints to certain things, like when Scorpion's trying to kill Johnny Cage. He like shows us like that skull head and like the flame thing, right? And then when Johnny Cage beats him, what do you see? You see an autographed picture of Johnny Cage that like from like the friendship thing.
Friendship.
And we got to see kind of like a pit thing with Shang Tsung's dying in Mortal Kombat. Reptile was awesome. Reptile was he was like the fastest one out of everyone in that movie, and that's how he was in the game too.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find. Let me see here really quick. There is a web series for Mortal Kombat. Yeah. It's on Machinima. It Warner Brothers. There's this Kevin Tanchurian. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his name, but he directed this short trailer called Mortal Kombat Rebirth back in 2010. Warner Brothers lost their collective minds over this. They loved it. So they gave him finances to create a web series. The first season was pretty awesome. It was like the lead up to the tournaments. You saw Scorpion versus Sub-Zero and like how Scorpion died, yada, yada, yada. You see Raiden, my favorite episode of the entire thing. Raiden, how he crashes to Earth and he lands in a mental hospital and just, they don't believe him that he's God, right? But you have all this stuff and you have a season 2. They even made a season 3, but like with Batgirl, it's completed. They refuse to release it. They have never released season 3. And season 3 was the wrap up for the series. Season 3 was at the island during the tournament. And they even had a fresh idea. Make Liu Kang a bad guy. If you have HBO Max, it's on HBO Max. You can find it right on there. Mortal Kombat Legacy. But yeah, it's like, but everything that made the first movie special, like, I feel like nothing made sense with the 2021 version. You know, we have Melina, we don't have Kitana. And Melina was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Melina was actually a badass. Like when she shoves her scythe through Sonya's shoulder, she tackles her outside. She pulls a sai out and she licks it. She's like, "This is not the blood of the champion." She refuses to kill Sonya because there's nothing in it for, if there's nothing in for her if she kills her. How cold is that?
Yeah, like I said, that movie gets, as far as the action, the characters, it gets a lot right, but without the tournament, is it really Mortal Kombat? Or could they just throw any name on these characters?
Well,
and it's,
what was that line that Shang Tsung said in the movie where Melina's like, "Oh, well, what if the Elder Gods find out about this? We'll lose the tournament." And Shang Tsung says, like, we have not won 9 consecutive Mortal Kombats by fighting fair. Then what's the point of the rules, man? But I will say this, like I said, Kano was the best part of the whole movie.
Loved him.
Kano was the best part. Next to that, I gotta say, I even loved Cabal.
Yeah.
Like the way they had Cabal in that movie and everything else, like just, he and Kano do not like each other at all. That's like that in the games too. They do not like each other, but they do work together quite a bit, and it came off perfectly with the two of them. But aside from that,
you just missed the mark.
Yeah. And they're making a sequel. I'm like, that's the other thing at the very end. At the very end. Oh, where are you going? Oh, Hollywood. Oh, what's on Hollywood? Not what. Who? He walks past the Johnny Cage poster. Like, okay. You can just say Johnny Cage is out there. Like, what? Come on. You don't build up suspense and then just like, I don't know.
It's show, not tell, Brandon.
It is. It's stupid, not smart. Okay, well, either way, on that note, it is getting that time. If not, it's our time. Well, we're on a decent time, but I do have to get going because I've got to start getting ready to head into work here. All you lovely ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Instagram, bjacksman1982. It is on the screen. Look over here, just like it's right there, bjacksman1982. On Instagram, on Facebook, it's Brandon Junk. I've got tons of people in my friend requests and lots more on my DMs. I don't check that stuff very often, so sorry. I will most likely never add or respond to you on there. But you can message us on the WADcast on Facebook. Those I do check. And that's easy to find. It's facebook.com/the WADcast. And the same thing goes for Instagram. Instagram.com/the WADcast, or just type in, the WADcast in the search options. We'll pop up. And you'll know us because it's a black picture with a white banner that says the WADcast in it. So writers, actors, directors underneath. Can't miss it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I got to go. So, Josh, you look so cute.
I know.
You have a good night. Uncle Don, thank you for chiming in and hanging out with us. As always, love you. Miss you, big guy. Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon. You're going to hear some really, really sappy music from Josh in a second while he gives his final thoughts. Have a good night, everybody. Happy Friday.
Well, kids, it's just us again, as it is every week. First of all, if you want to find out more about what we do here, you can go to wadcomedia.com. That is more of a place to find the links to all of the social media sites where we actually do the updating, and our merchandise store. If you feel like sporting a nice WADcast t-shirt, we got a few of those, as well as Wadco Media shirts and other shirts too. We got stuff. So if you want to go check that stuff out, wadcomedia.com. And then hit up the social media sites and leave a like, and that way you can keep track of everything that we're doing here with the WADcast and 1021 and the Storytellers Power Hour, all of these great Wadco Media podcasts. Anywho, well, for you long-time listeners of the show, you know exactly what I'm about to say. So let's just get to the chase. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. If you want to be a creator, then by God, start creating. If you want to start writing, write. If you want to direct, if you got a phone, there you go. You got a camera. The worst project, the project that always hits, or the project that never hits the mark, I should say. The project that never hits the mark is the one that doesn't get made. So if you even want a chance of hitting that mark and making something enjoyable, then you have to start doing it. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels, wishing that you would be able to do something rather than actually doing it. Don't ask permission to make your art. Just, I think that slogan's taken. Just make it. There we go. We skirted around that one. Good job, us. Just make your art and keep making it. That's it. Thank you for listening to the WADcast episode number 124. This is the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast. You're coming at you every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. I hope you enjoyed your time with us tonight, because I know we enjoyed our time with you. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and do all of that fun, wonderful stuff that these analytic people like to look at. Until next time, it's been a blast. I will catch you guys